Did you know 63 million Americans have a high risk of inherited cardiovascular disease and may not know it? So from a lifestyle point of view, I've been an athlete my whole life. Fitness has always been a passion. I've done triathlons when I was younger, did some endurance stuff for fun, although I was usually more of a speed and power athlete. People did find out that I was in the hospital. You know, of course, the whole thing was Gordon had a heart attack. The reality was I actually never had a heart attack. If it wasn't for the fact that my brother had had his heart attacks, I probably would have done more to ignore what I had, but because I knew that I had the family history, I was ready to step up and figure out, with a little push from my wife, what was wrong and what was going on. We know that he had extremely elevated LPA. I was very concerned. I wanted to do a stress test. I wanted to always take the next step to make sure that I wasn't running down the same path as my brother Stan. But kind of the feedback we would get at the time was, no, you don't have to worry about it. You're going to be fine because you're doing everything right. Probably 2 or 3 months before the actual discovery that I had major heart disease, what was coming up is I was just getting a symptomatic headache when I would exercise hard. And so I got a headache that day, didn't feel that good, turned around, and I called my wife Lynn and talked to her, and she was very adamant that I go see the doctor. And by the luck of the draw, actually, my principal doctor wasn't there the day that next day that I went in to see the doctor. And the doctor, who was a female doctor, who's probably my lifesaver, said, you know, I don't really know you. I see your history. I think we need to have a treadmill test done. And I'm like, that's great. I've always wanted to have one done. So when the treadmill test was done, the results came back. Actually, I got the headache right then and there, and they stopped the test and did the old nitroglycerin under the tongue and the whole bit. And I remember then when we came around and my wife Lynn and I were talking to Dr. Price, at that point, he let it be known that I had 5 different blockages. 2 of the major arteries that kill most men were 99% occluded. He said they're really 100% occluded, but I can't write that on my charts because you're still alive. And then the 3 others were all occluded at 85% or over because it was quite the anomaly that I was in there and still alive. And that's how I found out, and that was shocking.
Not very good, and it looked like he was going to be going to the hospital immediately, and that was just a terrifying thing to hear. And to have happen. To have your children sit on the edge of your bed, or your wife, and just know that that you may not see them again. It can happen to you. It can happen to anybody. So one, tell your doctor. If you find out you're going in for your cholesterol testing, ask them to test for LPA. The more we can educate everybody about it, the better chance we have at solving, this disease in and of itself and what it does to people. My real concern and my hope for the future is for my daughters. I know when we look at this disease and what I've learned about it already, that 20% of the world's population conservatively can have the same genetic disorder, and yet we're really not doing much about it. That's not fair. There's no reason why that is not on the forefront of heart disease research. So for my daughters, that's why I'm here. It's not for me. That's why anybody who knows this disease is genetic, that's really what it's all about. And so what about the future? Anything we can do to eliminate or not have what happened to him happen to our daughters and anybody else out there would be wonderful.
You know, a simple LPA blood test could be the first step in preventing up to 120,000 cardiovascular events every year. If you have high LPA, each of your children have at least a 50% chance of inheriting it.